Every football off-season for 2 months, you have to do things that you don't want to as a football fan. Spend time with family and friends, gardening, spend time with family and friends. The list goes on. The list goes on. But the football season is back. There's a smile on my face, and there's a smile on my face for a reason. I'm I miss this. I needed this, and we're finally back. So, with that being said, here are the 5 games that I'm most looking forward to this season. And we're not going to do that whole build up, blue balls thing where we go from 5 to 1. We're just going to get started. We're just going to get started. The game I'm most excited for this season, the 2 games, it's El Clasico. It's El Clasico. You all remember last season, Barcelona were the second best team in Europe. And what that meant for El Clasico is in the 4 games across the league and the cups, they won all 4 games. Who could have predicted that? Who could have predicted that? I did. I did. Okay? Okay. And in a season that was meant to be Kylian Mbappe coming to the helm, potentially winning a Ballon d'Or, it was the exact opposite. And we're probably watching Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, someone on the other side of town, other side of the country, claim that honor this season. So, yeah, this game matters for a lot of reasons. Like I said, for Mbappe, he missed out on the PSG Champions League win. He missed out on the Madrid Champions League the season before. It matters to him, of course. Vinny misses out on the Ballon d'Or because of either corruption or journalists making bad decisions. You guys decide which it is. And he has a bad season as well. Bellingham, his second season is much worse relatively to his first season at Real Madrid, where it got as good as it could have gotten for him. Maybe for the rest of his career, he's never going to have a season like that, in my opinion. And this past year was about him delegating a lot of that attacking responsibility to the other guys and sort of just filling in the shoes of being more of a team player. And the guy that completes the Fab Four, I guess, for Real Madrid, Rodrigo, is now coming into a season where yet again there's scrutiny, there's transfer speculation. No one, including him, knows where his best position is. So we're left to wonder what is the future for these 4 guys, because that expectation at Real Madrid, if you don't win one season, the next season has to contain. It has to contain silverware. And that's just on this side of town, okay? Yes, Real Madrid have this expectation of needing to compete, but Barcelona last season, they still didn't win that Champions League. That's still something that they need to aspire towards this season. And the reason, besides what it means for these 2 teams, if we just look at El Clasico as a rivalry, okay, why these games matter so much more than the seasons gone by. If you look at the win streaks across history, I sort of jotted down what it looks like. Barca's on a 4-game win streak right now. In the 1960s, Real Madrid had a 7-game win streak. The next best is tied between Pep Guardiola's Barca team from the 2010s for 5 games, and I think it's Zidane's 2020s Madrid teams in the post-Messi era, where they're just stat padding El Clasico wins for 5 games. So if Barca is able to win the next 2 El Clasicos, this puts this Lamine Yamal version of Barcelona in that category, where head-to-head with Vinny, head-to-head with this new-look Real Madrid team that was still able to compete at the top level in Europe as one of the best El Clasico teams of all time. So that's pretty much why I think it's so important in terms of the legacy side of things. But if we just take a brief moment to look at Xabi Alonso, new coach coming into Real Madrid now, what's it actually going to look like out there on the pitch? You're going to see Trent be employed in all these weird sort of spots, often in midfield, often tucking in. Sometimes I hope at least still crossing the ball into the box because, hey, that's the one thing he's the best in the world at. But you can't guarantee what a modern coach has planned for these guys these days. And on the other side of Spain, you have the best creative team, the team with Pedri, Yamal, and Rafinha, get their hands on the best runner football has to offer in Marcus Rashford, MBE Marcus Rashford. And you doubted me, I doubted me, but my favorite player got his move to the best club in Europe after a bad season, and that's a pretty good outcome. So I am worried for Madrid. If I had to give a prediction, I think Barca still goes undefeated unless you see a pragmatic approach from Madrid. Because how do you stop Yamal? How do you stop Rashford on the counter if you're going to employ such bold, theories with your fullbacks, with your midfielders? How are you actually going to do this? Because Trent can't defend him if he plays as a normal right back. But if these guys are out of position, your centre backs are going to get dragged out wide. And Barcelona, when they're playing at their best and you're playing at their best, it doesn't matter how good you are. Barcelona is going to be the team that controls the game. So, besides that, the one thing that I'm probably looking into is Barca actually going to be a better team on the defensive end? Because their defense is in line with Madrid. It's in line with Atletico. It's the gap in quality and attack that defined last season. So, just looking at the numbers here, Barca scored 24 more goals than Real Madrid last season, 16 higher in terms of expected goals as well. Is that sustainable? After the season they had, I don't think they'll shy away from that sort of style of football, but it goes without saying that Inter Milan semi-final tie, a bit of defensive solidity, a bit more concentration on that end, not playing the high line with so little minutes left in the game, left in the tie, it could have gone a lot better. So that is my most looked forward to game, and that's in round 10. And there's also a really juicy fixture in round 35 of La Liga in May on my birthday. So, look, the league's probably going to be decided by round 35, but hopefully we have in El Clasico a blockbuster title decider in the last 3-4 rounds of the league. In at number 2, Liverpool versus Arsenal. The Premier League needs to get some love because it is the most watched. Is it the most watchable league? Yeah, maybe, I guess. But in round 3, Liverpool play Arsenal, and this is the game I have marked as the start of the title race. Many people will tell you the title race starts at round 1, and they're probably right. But the moment it feels like it starts, there's always a big top 6 game that gives that feeling. I think in the season just after COVID, 21-22, there was a Man City-Liverpool game, probably 3-4 rounds in, that had the same vibe to it at Anfield, 2-2 draw. And this game, to me, because it's the most exciting team in Liverpool versus the most consistent team over the last 3 years in Arsenal, it has the recipe, it has the ingredients for the recipe of a really good game. So let's I guess break it up. Liverpool, off season of hell. There's no two ways about it. What happened is crazy, and the fact that as human beings you just have to get over it, and now we're just playing football again is crazy. And that is what it is. But all things that we can control as human beings, all things considered, it's the perfect window in terms of signings. Frimpong, Kirkez, you've signed 2 great fullbacks, Wirtz, and potentially 2 strikers that have that knack of scoring goals, that stylish knack of scoring goals, and also have another ceiling that they can reach in Ekitike and Isaac. So it's as good as it could get. And on the other side, Arsenal, 3 big signings. Zubimendi, 55 mil. Madueke, 50 mil. And the main man, number 9 up top, Gyökeres, 55 mil. 3 big signings, the final pieces to the most consistent team over the last 3 years. You might be thinking right now, why have I not picked a Man City game? Because when you watch Man City play, I said this last year, and I'll probably have to say it again sometime this year, right? They're too volatile, either in their quality and definitely in their entertainment. Their ability to entertain you is not there. And that's something that you should probably be telling your kids when they see that Wikipedia page of 4 league titles in a row, whatever. You probably want to mention that, hey, it wasn't fun all the time. And that's why I haven't included City. And this is the game for me. Like I said, starts the title race. In terms of a prediction, I think it'll be a draw. I'm hoping for an end-to-end game, and it'll probably be like that because Liverpool will play such a fast, energetic, back-to-front style. And I think Liverpool will be more comfortable, but it's obvious. They're going to leave a lot of spaces. That Community Shield this week with Palace, it goes to show They haven't fully figured it out yet, how it's going to work if Frimpong is so high forward and inverting, and Kirkes is also not in the back line. Whose job is it? Is Gravenberch going to be back? Is he going to be ready to support the two centre backs in that? Because even just with those three guys, there's a lot of holes in that back line, and they have the quality, but I don't know. I don't feel too comfortable leaving such few men at the back, and Bukayo Saka's not a man you want to leave free on the right wing. In at number 3, I'll be very honest. I'm more excited about every Man United game, regardless of how shit we are, than number 3, 4, and 5. But I'm putting my unbiased hat on. It's Napoli versus Inter Milan. Okay, round 8 is the first time they'll match up, and the reason why this is relevant to me is this is the 1v2 matchup. Okay, it is not the best league in Europe. I'd say it's the 4th best league in Europe. Definitely better than the Bundesliga, in my opinion. With how little I watch it, I don't know if you can verify my opinion at home, but the league winners in Napoli get Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, I'm excited to watch him play. I want to know where he's going to play, because you can have him so deep in midfield, or you can have him next to his Belgian counterpart, Romelu Lukaku, and that can be the little two-man game there. And you've also got Scott McTominay, so he could be that deep-lying midfielder that is just spraying balls for all these guys, but he could also be the road runner that we know him to be from Wolfsburg. So I'm excited to see how much easier he makes it for the Napoli attackers. And on the other side, okay, I could have easily gone Napoli-Juve or Napoli-Milan, but I'm going to respect Inter's heritage over the past 2-3 years. But there was a real reason why I was contemplating not doing that, and it's because they're falling asleep at the wheel, okay? This season, I'm looking at my notes because guess what? I don't know too much about Inter Milan. 4 signings, okay? They spend 66 million. Let's look at the other big teams in Serie A. Milan spent 81 million, who are also famously broke and still in for Erasmus Højlund. Napoli spend 89 mil, and Juve, while still being broke, spend 120 mil. Okay. On top of that, Inzaghi, the coach that made this whole low negative net spend possible over the past 3 years, has left for sunnier skies in Al Hilal. And on top of that, Inter have the older squad last season with an average age of 29.2. And those average numbers in terms of squad age are not always like the be-all and end-all, but when you see Mkhitaryan, when you see Çalhanoğlu starting in the Champions League final, they're both over the age of 36, probably by the end of the season. Are we sure? Are we sure this is the team that we're going to watch? But I will give them the grace for one season, but from the next season on, I'm not expecting Inter to have a seat at this table in terms of the top of Serie A, the top of Europe anymore. I think that era is well and truly over. Kevin De Bruyne, Luka Modric, there's a few guys that are moving to Serie A that make it a better place for what is the casual fan. And I'm happy to put myself in that category because, hey, it's not a crime not to watch Serie A. Sorry. So in at number 4, I've gone with a wildcard pick. Sweden versus Switzerland. So they play twice, once in October, once in November, the second and third international breaks. And I wanted to pick a World Cup qualifier because the World Cup fever that is, racing through my veins. I've already booked my tickets to America. I've already booked accommodation. Well and truly, months before the tickets are released. It's in me, but that World Cup fever doesn't start in America, Mexico, or Canada. It starts with the qualifiers, okay? And Sweden and Switzerland are in the one European group that has a bit of competition, that has a bit of flair, because every one of these early round qualifiers where the top team qualifies, England's got an easy run, France has got an easy run, Spain's got an easy run, but this is the one time I see 2 quality teams line up. We all know about Switzerland. They're a staple now over the last decade with this Granit Xhaka era. Can't believe I'm calling it that unironically, but it is. They're really good at tournaments. They're really good at tournament football. They're very solid defensively, and they have the keeper in Jan Sommer to win penalty shootouts. But on the other side of things, Sweden are a team with more talent, okay, younger talent, and better talent, Okay, and let me just break that down real quick. Isaac, potentially a Liverpool striker, is 25 years old. Gyökeres is 27 years old. Now at Arsenal, Elanga gets his move to Newcastle. He's 23. Kulusevski moved to Spurs 2 years ago. He's 25. Bergvall is 19 and just moved to Spurs as well last season. So 5 guys, the front 5 for Sweden. It's very rare you get 1 or 2 guys if you're not a big European nation, big footballing nation with lots of academies. But they've managed to get 5 guys now. This isn't Emil Forsberg and co. This isn't about Victor Lindelof anymore. It's not about Olsen. It's about these 5 guys and how far they can take them. And the last time Sweden played an international game that was competitive was against Ukraine in the 2021 Euros. So it has been a while since we've seen Isaac on this stage, but it's time. It's time to see these guys on this stage, and I hope for Sweden's sake, my prediction is they need to win, because we need new chapters now. We need new stories in the World Cups, in the Euros, okay? We got Morocco last time. Why not Sweden this time? Of course, Morocco is more of an underdog, but you know what I'm saying. You get the point. Bring me some new chapters to the World Cup stories to write. In at number 5, if you thought the international pick was a wild card, this one definitely is a wild card, and I'm getting my hater cap on for this. The games that I'm most excited to watch this season is Chelsea versus any of the top 5 teams. Okay, what's the relevance of this? I'm a hater. I don't like Chelsea. I don't like what they're doing. I don't think it's good for young players to just be bought and sold and moved around like cattle. Okay, I don't think it's beneficial to a lot of careers. Yes, they're able to get a move out of it. Yes, they can make money, but I don't think for the sustainability of the player, I don't think players hit the quality that they could if they were in a proper footballing system where there's an actual plan to their progression and their molding. Especially with the young players, which Chelsea's all about. So I am a hater, and the last 2 seasons, what I'm calling the Cole Palmer Chelsea project era, to a lot of people it's been impressive, but to me it's just been cute. Okay, it's been cute, not impressive. Why is that? You look at the top 6, traditional top 6 that is, with how bad Spurs and United are now over the last 2 seasons. Okay, I looked at it and I broke down how many games did Chelsea actually win. So in the league, 2 seasons ago, Chelsea win 3 out of 10 games against the top 6. In all comps, they win only 3 out of 12 games. Last season, despite finishing 4th, qualifying for the Champions League, despite winning the Club World Cup, despite winning the UEFA Europa Conference League, that was hard for me to remember. But despite all of that, they still only win 3 out of 10 games against the traditional top 6 in a year that Spurs and Man United are effectively tanking for draft picks. Okay, and please don't hold that against us. We weren't trying to. It happened, and we apologize for the integrity of the league. But in 2 seasons, they win in both seasons only 3 out of 10 games against the top 6. Now, you're talking about Chelsea being in Champions League, that's cool, but if you want to be a team that challenges for league titles, you've got to bump that number to, I reckon, 5 or 6 at the very least, okay? Yes, you can draw away from home, that's totally fine, but it needs to be at that level. So the question for you sitting at home is, how many games against the traditional top 6 out of 10 is Chelsea going to win? Because for me, less than 4. 4 or less, let's say, is my prediction, because despite all this young talent, I don't see a clear, cohesive plan for their players. Yes, João Pedro, I can see being the starting 9 right now, but if you told me 3 months down the line, Liam Delap is now the focal point, and they're playing a very different style of football with him there, and there's not as much cohesion as there was with João Pedro if he goes down. There's so many things based on form and volatility of these young players. I just don't see it happening this season. And as always, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Not as much because I'm not a Chelsea fan, but if I was talking shit about Man United and anything from an analytical perspective, please prove me wrong, because that is what makes sport and not just scripted TV like, Serie A match fixing scandals in the early 2000s. But yeah, there you have it, the 5 games that I'm keen to see this season. Ciao.